Okay, good morning. We are live. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to this conversation that we're going to have with the dynamic Shawna Gemmell, who is a coach, an HR professional. I mean, you've done so many things, Shawna, but you've been coaching now for how long?
Officially coaching in my own business for about 5 years now.
So good.
Yeah.
Now you're a member of the Star Coach community and maybe even listen to the Star Coach show. And we had Karin Hurt and David Dye of Let's Grow Leaders first on the show. But when I have somebody on the show that I just think is really dynamic and offers something that is almost like too good to not take advantage of, or just has a skill base that I'd like to get in front of my community, I invite them into the community. So David and Karin came into the community where we have something called the Star Power Hour once a month, where an expert comes in and shares their specialty with the community. Well, David and Karin came in and they gave us a deep dive into something called the Synergy Stack, and also gave us, I don't know if you remember this, but they gave us some solid tools that we could use whether we ever did the Synergy Stack training or not. You really got bit by the bug and were like, I want to dive deeper into this. And I'm delighted that you just went ahead and did it, because now you can talk to all of us about what did the Synergy Stack certification training do for you as a coach? How are you using it? And if people come and join us live, if you've got questions, Shawna is happy to, we'll just bring you on up and you can ask your question and we'll get that question answered. So when we think about, and I named this presentation today, Confident Coaching Creative Solutions, for a reason. I think that often what holds us back from approaching organizations, maybe even individual clients, is what's my results? What are the results that I'm going to get? But also, like, do I solidly know the approach I'm going to take? And I think that that's one of the other things that I just love about the Synergy Stack, is it gives you creative solutions to bring forward that are research-based, like empirically based, solid material. So let me just kind of first throw it to you, Shawna, and say, what was it about what Karin and David offered that made you think, this is a training that I would like to invest in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I try to invest in something every year, and there's so many things out there. So really, how do you figure out which one you want to do? What attracted me to Synergy Stack is, several things, many things. One, I wanted a new tool. I wanted something interesting and engaging. That was something people could put their hands on, that I could bring to either my group coaching, helping strategic teams figure things out, get more aligned with each other in a bit of a different way. And that's exactly what Synergy Stack did. I really resonated with, let's help our teams get aligned by focusing on the habits that they find either they have strengths in, or they find challenging and they want to build as teams. And that's what resonated with me. Karin and David, I think from the training, when I actually went into the training, and just it sounds so simple, but it makes so much sense when they highlight that the goal of any coaching or training is change, right? Mm-hmm. And then when people want it and they own it, that creates lasting change. And when people feel like they can succeed, that's when lasting change happens. They know how to succeed. Synergy Stack gives them that tool, that framework, I guess, to work together as a team and in a structured way. It helps them identify the habits that they want so that they can build and then achieve that success, kind of putting it all together. So there was all of it, and it's fun. I mean, you get these wonderful colored cards with all these great tools and resources. I think that would probably be another thing. They don't just give you the cards and say, here you go, I've trained you on some habits. They give you a whole resource center of activities and workshops that you can take. So you're not starting from scratch. You almost go into it not feeling brand new. You feel like you've got some tangible tools to use and really make impact with teams or individuals pretty quickly.
So many things you said there that I think are so powerful. And I want to welcome those of you who are joining us. If you have any questions, just either put them in the comments or come on camera and we'll pull you up to the screen so that you can ask your questions. But one of the things that you said there is, it's almost as though the sense I got when I was in the several conversations that I've had with them about this is that they have their training so dialed in and their tools so well established, sort of, that once you go through the training, I mean, you're like coming onto the stage more confident and more ready to go, because I don't know, some of you may have gone through a training and you're like, yeah, but I still feel really sort of wobbly with this assessment or with this whatever. But the sense I get from this training is that it's really interactive. You are experiencing the tool, and that you leave sort of ready to engage and say here, and you've used it already with both individual clients and groups. So can you share a little bit about like what have you done to use these tools so far?
Sure. So I've only been certified for a few months, so not a large number of groups or individuals, but have been working with some teams and a few one-on-one coaching clients and using Synergy Stack. So, for example, with one of I partnered with an executive team who was wanting to. This was a few months ago. They were wanting to bring a new creative way to and spark some innovation for their strategic planning meeting. So within Synergy Stack, one of the great resources, one of the activities is your strategic planning kickoff meeting, which is, I think, like a really great elevated, not only icebreaker, but also a tool that helps them come to I'm going to call it agreement of how we're going to move forward together in the strategic planning meeting. This team was not broken. They had good success over the years, but they felt like they were just maintaining that success. And everybody was kind of doing all the right things, but they weren't, they wanted to elevate that. So it was not that anything was, it's not broken, don't fix it type of thought, but it's not broken. How can we make it even better? And so we did a lot of work around with the curiosity cards and getting them to be really, really curious with each other, and then deciding what habits they wanted to bring into their strategic planning meeting that they would hold each other accountable to, that they would speak up. They would bring their idea forward. They wouldn't stay in their own silo, for lack of a better word. They would work together. So that worked really well. They had a lot of fun with it. And I feel, they really did embrace it, which was great throughout their strategic planning meeting. I've also used it with some one-on-one coaching clients, really around career development and planning. One young lady I am working with, she's building her career, and she struggles with conflict and having those challenging conversations, or feeling like she's going into a conflict conversation. So we have been using the cards to end the activities within the Synergy Stack to then help her plan how she's going to go in those conversations. I think confidence and, handling those things is built over time, but this gives her a really nice tool to plan before going to the conversation. So I think it gives her a little boost before she has to go into a meeting or go into a conversation that might be a little bit more challenging.
And you mentioned earlier that there's some fun to it. I mean, they're colorful and they're, but what I have found, and have used something, not Synergy Stack in the past, but I used an activity where I created cards for, and this was really sort of around setting goals and those kinds of things. But I found that when my clients had the cards in their hand and they shuffled through the cards and they looked through and experienced, it just created a tactile experience along with, the thinking and sometimes thinking and doing and experiencing and feeling together. All those things together just create a deeper experience. So these Synergy Stack cards, you talked about habits, and we all have habits, and sometimes those habits serve us and sometimes they don't serve us. And there's 4 key dimensions in the Synergy Stack, connection, clarity, curiosity, and commitment. How do you help your clients sort of decide, like even using the stack, which I know I have here, the stack, how do they decide how they're going to use the stack of cards?
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say I have a little bit more, I guess, more experience with the my one-on-one clients so far with this. Yeah. And so you listed out the 4 dimensions: the clarity, commitment, connection, or curiosity. So we curiosity.
There we go. There's the last one. Okay.
And so, for example, just one example, and here's the thing about these. So within the Resource Center, all these amazing activities that are already built for us to be able to use, but it's not limited to that. You can create your own activities around these. So sometimes I've been with a client who just kind of feels stuck. I have a client who wanted to figure out how she could collaborate more with people in her organization. She was feeling a little bit stuck in her space and doing really well in her space, but she wanted to grow her career. And so how was she going to expand it? And so one of the things is that she came up with was, well, I think I need to collaborate more. So it was her idea. And I said, great, let's look at the cards and let's see what might resonate with you. So, which ones speak to you when you think about collaboration? So she picked connection, and she also picked clarity as her 2 dimensions. I said, great.
Okay.
So take time. I want you to go through each stack. I want you to pick, let's just focus on connection first. I want you to pick 2 cards out of that stack that those habits really resonate with you, right? You think those are things I do all the time. I feel great about them. And I want you to pick 2 that maybe you feel are a little bit more challenging or you would like to build. Those are habits you like to build as we think about how can I collaborate more within my organization. And so one of them, I can't remember which one she picked, but let's pretend she picked the one under connection. So connection is we know one another as human beings, and that's great because they give you the definitions. Here's what connection means, right? For the purposes of Synergy Stack.
Love that. So you can be using it and showing and engaging. Love it. Okay.
Yeah. So hers was, okay, I need to ask more questions. So she picked, for example, I give my full attention in our conversations, paying close attention to what you say and how you'll say it. But what really stood out to her for that was she probably just was a little bit more reserved in meetings and didn't speak up. And what this habit encourages you to do is to say, and what else? Or ask, and what else? And what else? And that prompted her to think about, I don't ask enough questions. I don't make those connections where then I'm figuring out how I'm going to collaborate more with my my peers when I'm in meetings. And so that was one thing. So what she actually did was she took it and put it on the front of her notebook to her meetings and just
Oh,
clipped
wow.
it.
She just did it. Boom.
Yeah,
It's
she
there.
took
It's
it
with me
and
all
it's
the
there.
time.
And it was reminding her to ask, and what else? Or just continue to make those connections with others and really let them know that she's listening. She's actively listening and paying attention, and that she cares about what they're doing. So that's one small example of one of the habits she chose and how she applied it when she took it out into her work.
Love it. I love that it
Mhm.
gives her something tangible to hold on to, and that visual to, I mean, like when we can touch and see and experience something fully, where it just,
Mhm.
it gives our clients just that extra oomph. And I think sometimes we all need that extra oomph, huh?
Absolutely. I would say within team settings, one of my favorite cards with teams when they pull it is under clarity. And clarity is we have a shared understanding of success. So that's what it tells us. But sometimes in teams, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Meg, or anyone else, but we all focus on our stuff, right? We focus on and we're in our own spaces and contributing well, I'm sure. But sometimes we have teams that need to, it doesn't matter what area you oversee, we're all here together to figure it out together. And this card, I spend my time working on the most important things, or my most important priority right now is. And what I loved about when the team pulled this card is they all came together to decide together what their most important priority was for that meeting or for that planning session. And so it says but like they evolved it into it's ours, it's our priority. And that card stayed on their table for their entire strategic meeting. So they always, if they started veering off into other topics or discussions or tangents or whatever it was, because they had a few tangent people, they could come back to this card and it's like, how does this align with what we said we were going to focus on, and get back to their most important priority.
I love, one of the things I love about that, we've all been in group situations where somebody goes on a tangent or does, and excuse me, if this card is on the table and anybody in the group could kind of reach over and grab it and say, and how does that align with this? Like,
Right.
how does that is just such a beautiful way to just sort of bring it back without necessarily, I mean, because there's the visual, right? If you see me pick it up and I'm going on, it's like, oh, that's right. Ground back into the value of the card.
Right.
So good. So good. Shawna, what would you, if people are like, well, first of all, if anybody has any questions, I've been keeping an eye on the comments. I don't see that any questions have come into the comments, but if you have questions, please let us know. If you're here live and you want to come up and ask a question, just, go on camera, let me know, and we'll bring you up so you can ask a question. But the reason Shawna and I are doing this is that Karin and David from Let's Grow Leaders, who are the creators of this, first of all, they're authors of several leadership books. They live, breathe, and do this. They bring this kind of training to organizations around the world. They're really good at what they do, and this process that they've landed on is through blood, sweat, and tears. Like, they've done things, they've put, and this has come together through, research and know-how. However, like I said at the very beginning, when I first met them, I was so impressed with what they did. And then when they started talking about what it is specifically that this brings, Shawna has mentioned the huge resource library that goes with this. I put in the chat a gift to all of you who are listening to this, who might want to know more. The Star Power Hour that they came into the community and provided a training. That's usually behind a paywall, but I'm like allowing all of you to access that because it was really awesome, right, Shawna? They
Was.
got in there, they pulled up the system, they showed what it looks like. So if you have curiosity and want to know what exactly does it look like, you can see exactly what it looks like by looking at the training that's in the chat. And it was just, I got to tell you, whether you choose to do this or not, they gave questions that you can use with your clients. They gave, I mean, it's worth a listen regardless. But through all that, I was so excited about the program. I said, would you do a special cohort for star coaches? Now, when I say star coaches, I don't just mean my paid community. I mean like anybody who is connected with me, anybody who wants more strategies, tools, and resources for coaches, which is what the STAR stands for. And so Karin and David have agreed to do a cohort if we have a group that makes it make sense for them, which is why I'm like saying, if you want to do this, this is the time to raise your hand and say, I want to do this, because I'm going to let them know that people want to do this with us. And we have several that do, but I really want to bring a healthy cohort to them and say, yes, we want to do this. And this is the deal. They are giving us a price that they're not doing anymore. They're not offering for a full day of live interactive training. It's online, so you don't have to get a plane ticket or a hotel. We will get certified to be able to use their tools. And there's a plethora of things that go along with that, as well as, like Shawna had mentioned, that her client kept that card and attached it. And you might be thinking, well, Shawna, did you give her your card? No, Shawna gets a discount on these products. So she can actually work within her, when she gives a package to a client, she can work into that they're going to get these two. They're going to have this. This is like a thing that they keep. And Shawna gets a discount because she's a certified facilitator. So I would love to have you join us on June 20th for this full day training, because I think it's going to be fabulous. I'm doing it myself. I'm going through. Would love to have you be a participant with me. But Shawna, if anybody's on the fence or sort of like, well, tell me, sort of tell me why it would be worth my time, my energy. And I got to tell you guys, $500 is $499.99. So basically, let's just say it's $500. $500 to get certified, to get a full day of training, which, by the way, you can apply that to your resource development, continuing education hours. And to walk away with this in your pocket is just like, I'm blown away that they're offering this to us for this price. So Shawna, if anybody is like, I don't know, tell me more, or what would you do it again? Because you invested, was it worth your investment? Like, what would you say to people?
As you're talking, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to do it again. But it was absolutely worth my investment. So you get the deck. And anybody who gets the deck, there's a QR code, and you can go in and you have access to this resource center. But as a certified facilitator, there are deeper dive workshops and more tools that they provide to you for facilitating Synergy Stack. I'd say if you are if you're like me, when you do a training program, like, I really like to understand the why and, how can I use this? And I feel like doing the actual training sparked way more ideas around what else I can use these for, because Karin and David don't limit us to only do the activities that they've provided. They say, go out there and be creative. Come back to them and share the activities you've created. It's just a wealth of tools and such a great way to enter some sort of program that, you're, like I said before, you're not starting brand new. You're going in with some real tangible tools. So I'd say if you're a coach and or a facilitator who works with teams on team development, helping teams align vision or boosting creativity. If you help teams with strategic planning, maybe you're part of a team, or you're somebody who goes out and helps that team. You like to work with large groups, or you like to, work more one-on-one. Synergy Stack really gives you all of the tools to do all of those things. And there's a few DIY. They've included those as well. So if you want to do some of your own self-reflection, clients can you can provide them tools. Maybe you're not having a coaching conversation. Maybe you're providing them with some tools to take away, to use to help them enhance their conflict skills or whatever. So lots of different things. I mean, I could go on and on about from that to all the resources, to breaking down all of the habits and how those habits came to be. It's too much for our little time here, but
right.
I can't express enough how much value I feel from not only Synergy Stack in the system, but the time I spent in the class and being able to really work through some of those creative ideas with the people who created it.
Right. And, so what I want to stress to all of you is that Shawna and I are like offering this, not because we're like it's because we think it is so good. So, I have been doing the Star Coach show now for 9 years. And prior to that, I have been working with and mentoring coaches for 16 plus years. And when I find something that I think, ooh, this might get one of the barriers out of the way for coaches, or it might help them step into their space a little more confidently or approach client, because I believe, this might sound hokey, but I totally believe that the world needs what coaching brings: more curiosity, more connection, more clarity, more commitment. I mean, those are the four, but I just think that that's really what coaching brings. So, so when I see something that's like, oh my gosh, this could really help coaches step confidently into their space. Shawna has given 2 mornings of hers since I screwed up the first date last time to talk about this, not because she gets anything back from that, but because it allows us to say to you, fellow coaches, who I don't believe we're in competition with one another. I believe we all kind of together step into the space. So when I see that there's something that can help you do that, and it's so stinking affordable. I mean, if any of you have like conflicts on the 20th, I'm so bummed, because I know that they're not going to offer it at this price again. And I just know it is such an incredible value. And I totally get that sometimes we have conflicts. So certainly you can go to letsgrowleaders.com and learn more about what Karin and David do. But if you'd like to, and you can buy the Synergy Stack at the full price there. And it's a great resource at any price. So I totally get that. And if you would like to hop in the training with me and several other like awesome coaches and just be a part of the cohort, get it at this discounted price and get all the things that Shawna's talking about. And like I said, I put a link in the chat for a training that David and Karin did for the Star Coach community that usually is only available to them, because they open up the vault in that, and they show everything that's in there. Mm-hmm. We would just love to invite you to join, but I do need to know who's going to join so that I can let Karin and David know. We're, about 3 weeks away from the training, and we'd love to have you join. So shoot me an email at meg@afocusonresults.com. Give me a DM. Somehow let me know that, yes, I want to do this, because then I'm going to let David and Karin from Let's Grow Leaders know that you're going to be part of this training at the discounted price of $500. And then you're going to walk away with all the things that Shawna's talked about. And just this I get lit up when I've got special things that I can do with my clients that really connect them to what's going on inside. And these habits that have been identified. We all have these habits. Sometimes they work for us, sometimes they don't. So, Shawna, I know when we did this last week, you said like 8,000 times you would recommend that people do this training. Yeah. Anything as we're closing out our time together that you want people to walk away with thinking about?
I think what you said, like if you are looking for a learning opportunity, if you're looking to enhance what you offer to your clients, for the price point. And I mean, even if it was full price, I still think it's worth it. But to get it for this price point now, think of the trainings that you do, the certifications that you do, and what the cost of those things are. I know I've done some pretty pricey ones over the years, and they weren't $500. So
no,
we're
talking
incredible.
$2,000, $3,000, $4,000, sometimes $5,000 to do a training.
Right. And I gotta tell you right now, I'm feeling like Synergy Stack is probably one of the ones that will bring me some of the most value to my clients as well. So yeah, I highly recommend it. And it was, if you're looking for a fun training session too, I mean, who doesn't want to have fun?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, and you mentioned that it's fun. I mean, like it's because you have your Synergy Stack while you're doing the training, right? So you're doing your thing and you're all engaging with one another. And I'm looking forward to it. I would love to have you join me as as we grow in our coaching skill set together. And I want to thank Shawna for taking time out of your day and out of your vacation twice now. She's joined us from vacation to do this. So don't be shy. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know. But really, most of your questions would be answered if you look at the training that I put in the chat. Mm-hmm. So I hope you think about joining us. This is definitely, I mean, I got to be totally transparent. I get asked several times a month, if not almost daily, it feels like, from people asking me to share certain things with my audience. And I rarely, I mean, if you followed me, you know that I rarely 100% like say, I mean, I can count on one hand in the 16 years that I've done the show that I've said, join me for this training or I'm an affiliate for this training, because I'm super cautious about what I offer to people. And I got to say, hands down, I was like, oh my gosh, like, yes, and yes on this. So think about joining us. We would love to have you. And then we can chat again about how we're all using it. So with that, any questions, Meg at afocusonresults.com, or send me a chat or a message. And Shawna, thank you for sharing your expertise in this. So appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Goodbye,
Thanks
everybody.
so much for having me. Bye.
Bye.